Good afternoon, Rotary. DJ Hilson, Muskegon County Prosecutor here, and I have the honor, privilege, and pleasure to moderate today's discussion with two fine gentlemen who bring a lot to our community as well as to our higher educational system. And so it's my pleasure to bring along for our discussion today, Dr. Dale Nesbary from Muskegon Community College, as well as Dr. Maike from Baker College. And as we were commenting before we got going here today, it's two doctors and a lawyer, and it really kind of brings to mind kind of a joke. What do you get when two doctors and a lawyer walk into a bar? And I probably should have taken some time to research that to finish it, but I'll let you folks at Rotary kind of finish the punchline on that. But be kind. Be kind. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to hear from our esteemed community colleges here in the area. And so getting going, I'd like to start with brief introductions. And so, Dr. Nesbary, I'm going to start with you, sir. If you could give us just a brief introduction, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, DJ. I am Muskegon born and bred, a wreath puffer rocket from way back when, before I had a gray beard. But my wife and I have lived all over the country. We actually left the area for 35 years. Back now, I'm in my 12th year at MCC. And what I will share is a fun fact, I suppose. Muskegon Community College has invested $55 million in county and infrastructure, primarily on our campus, but over $20 million in the Sturgis Technology Center downtown. So we're trying to catch up with Baker and the Culinary Institute in that regard, but doing the best we can. But that's a brief introduction.
Thank you, sir. Turn it back over to you, Dr. Maike, please.
Thank you, DJ. It's a pleasure to be here, and I am a Michigan native. I grew up in small town, rural Michigan, Ovid, Michigan, and have been in Muskegon now about 3 years, and I love our neighbor downtown and across the street at our main campus, Dr. Nesbary and MCC. We just have a wonderful partnership going, and happy to be here in Muskegon for my second time.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, again, thank you for being a part of this discussion, and we'll get to COVID and what you guys have done. We'll probably save that to the end. I'd like to start with something a little bit maybe more positive. In particular, it was just a few years ago when the Muskegon Promise really kind of got reborn, if you will, and brought back into it. And could you guys talk a little bit about the impact that has had on enrollment, maybe, or if it's really kind of changed the flavor of the campuses where you're seeing more local kids stick around Muskegon, which I think is part of the reason why we have that promise. Dr. Maike, I'm going to start with you.
Absolutely. We have seen a dramatic shift since the promise on our campus, and our average grade point average for our students on campus is over a 3.0 now, and that's largely driven by those Muskegon Promise scholars that have a 3.5 or higher coming out of high school. We have over 500 students between MCC and Baker College attending and staying locally, and it really wouldn't be possible without all of the innovation and the donations that those high school graduates, and to keep them here after graduation to work in their business.
Dr. Nesbary, your thoughts?
It's funny, DJ, that you asked that question, because both Dr. Maike and myself were in a Promise Zone meeting this very morning, and we were discussing some of the same issues that you raised. It indeed has changed the flavor of our campus. Our campus is a little bit younger. Our average age now is roughly 24. We're seeing more students stay in the community to attend both Baker and MCC. From my perspective, the strength of our student from a GPA perspective and a transferability perspective, that's improved. Another fun fact, I believe that this specific program has led to the quality of our students at universities. And it's something that we've discovered during the last few years, that community college students generally, not just Muskegon Community College, but community college students generally transferring to a four-year institution in this state, in Michigan, do more well than their equivalent junior at that university. Now, let me repeat that. Our students do better than university students do at the junior level. The only exception to that is the University of Michigan, where our students do just as well. So it's interesting how the promises played into improving the quality of students that we have here, at least at the junior college level.
Gentlemen, can we talk a little bit about college affordability? And I'm springboarding a little bit on what you just said, Dr. Nesbary. And as a parent of a junior in high school this coming school year, I'm starting to really have those heart palpitations as we start thinking about the college bill. Can you talk a little bit? I'll start with you in this one, Dr. Nesbary, and then switch to you, Dr. Maike, on the importance of being affordable, and what that means to kids who are want to go to that Michigan State or those bigger colleges, but affording a 4-year degree just isn't feasible. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure, affordability is a key issue for our institution, but I also think the quality of instruction here is first rate, and you can measure that by the quality of nursing programs, both at MCC and Baker. If you take a look at where we rank every single year, we're at or near the top of the institutions in the state of Michigan. In fact, for the RN degree, I'll speak to that. Our students are, for the most part, 100% of our RN students pass the NCLEX exam, which is the ticket that gets you into being able to practice nursing in any state for that matter. But affordability, at MCC, we're roughly 1/5 the cost of a 4-year institution. And this is coming from a proud Spartan myself. I love Michigan State, but when you take a look at the cost of attendance, it is much more affordable. And I think that's something that parents like yourself or myself back in the day appreciated.
Dr. Maike, how about Baker's affordability? What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. I think back on the promise as well, I think making that more affordable, we're not just, both MCC and Baker, we're not just taking students, we are actually giving money back to the promise and reinvesting in that promise to continue that gift to those high scholar students across the county. In addition to that, we provide over $10 million in scholarships every year to students who choose to attend Baker College. High-performing high school students can get over half of their tuition paid through scholarships through the college. We are the most affordable comprehensive 4-year institution in the state of Michigan. So we love to see students come directly to Baker College, but we embrace those transfer students from MCC as well, because as Dr. Nesbary has said, we know that our transfer students actually graduate at a higher rate than the students that we recruit directly out of high school. But we have worked very hard to keep our college affordable because it's the second most important thing to parents. Number one is always safety on campus. And then 2 is, how am I going to pay for this?
Yes, 2 very important questions. Again, as a father of 3, whose first is getting close to that day. So I appreciate the fact that at least locally we have 2 very well qualified and highly regarded institutions locally that allow our students to continue on in their higher education at a very affordable rate. That's always something to be very proud of. So thank you, guys. I have to throw in kind of a fun question here, since you kind of mentioned it in the opening. I mean, certainly having been at both your campuses, you're directly across the street from one another. Now you've got 2 very specialized programs downtown, essentially right across the street from one another. Is there some sort of rivalry between Baker and MCC? I mean, is there some friendly competition at all? You guys play golf together, and high stakes golf. Talk to us about the relationship.
Dr. Maike, would you like to start?
I would love to. I consistently get questions do you and Dale really get along as well as you show in public?
Let's
I,
look at
I
the other
always say
side.
I met with Dale before I was even officially the president at Baker College of Muskegon. I was still living in Owasso and sat down with him and said, we don't want to compete. We have competed for years. I don't want to come into town and build programs that you have. We've had those conversations since day one, and we support each other. We market each other. We both have each other's back relative to what's happening on our campuses through multitude of support mechanisms. And we have had in the past Muskegon Community College and Baker College a fierce competition, and that has just went away. And I couldn't be more happy to say that and to call Dale a colleague who I love to work with. We don't golf.
Yeah. High stakes golf is not what you want me to do. So believe me. But I agree with everything that Aaron said. In fact, it's so funny how everyone assumes that there's this deep competition in some way, shape, or form. But in fact, I mean, we have any number of articulation agreements with Baker College. We've worked to make sure that our courses are transferable. It's something that if we don't do that here in Muskegon, we have to protect ourselves in a community like ours. It's something that we know that if our students want to be competitive on, I'll say, the world stage, they have to be of the highest quality. And having us compete with each other is just not going to get us there. So I think because of the relationship that we've had and the work that our staffs have put forward together, that we've done what I think is relatively unique in community college university relationships. It's just it's a pleasure to work with Baker and with Aaron.
Well, that's
And
good
Dale
to
is
hear. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
sorry, DJ. I was just going to say Dale gets me in trouble at the Culinary Institute because he is there more often than I am getting coffee.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing too. It kills me. I walk in there, I'll go to the sweet spot, and don't you work at MCC? Yeah, I do. Why are you over here? They have the best coffee in town, and
Right.
they have tremendous pastries. Tremendous pastries. I don't need to gain weight, but that's the story of my life. But true story and true or relationship.
Well, that's good to hear. Having, as I drive Marquette often between the two campuses, and I don't have to look out for water balloon launchers or anything like that coming across the Marquette street there. That's makes me feel a lot better. Let's talk a little bit about what are the kind of the focuses or main. I guess what I want to ask is, what's MCC and Baker known for as far as classes go? I mean, as you are producing these high quality educated students, what's the one area that and I don't want you. I mean, I don't want you to make any professors or deans mad, but what's the one area that you're most particularly proud of at your institution that you see as kind of the gem, if you will? And so we'll start with you, Dr. Mikey. Go ahead.
Well, that's a tough question. We have
That's what I get paid the big bucks for. Ask the tough questions.
they, as Dr. Nesbary said, nursing is always towards the top of the state. But our Culinary Institute is a $13 million investment in downtown Muskegon. And I always joke a little bit about everyone thinks it's just about cooking and not about the knowledge behind it. And I think right now that national championship in the Knowledge Bowl, where those students went and competed across the nation and came out on top, didn't get one question wrong, shows that we're not only training great chefs, but they are really smart kids when it comes to the science behind the food. And I think that applies to all of our programs at Baker and at MCC. They all do a great job, but that sim building and those sim faculty have just really stood out in a very competitive world. And the faculty actually compete as well. So it's they go to these competitions, the students compete, and the faculty compete against other faculty across the nation.
Wow. That's nice. Nice. Dr.
Yeah.
Nesbary, how about yourself? What do you like to hang your hat on at MCC?
Well, like Dr. Maike, I don't want to get into too much trouble with my faculty, but I'll throw out three quick ones. Uh, First of all, our music program, something that wouldn't ordinarily think of. In the past several years, we've sent two groups, not one, but two groups, to perform in the Isaac Stern stage at Carnegie Hall. Yes, that Carnegie Hall. So we have outstanding fine arts here on campus. Our engineering and manufacturing programs are top flight. We have, as far as I know, the only foundry program in a community college in the Midwest, and it's something that we're very proud of. With our Fab Lab, our maker space, we have just tremendous equipment and tremendous faculty working in the Sturgis Technology Center. But again, I'll follow what Dr. Maike had to say about nursing. Our allied health generally is strong, very strong. Nursing competes very efficiently and effectively with nursing programs around the country. When I say 100% of our nurses are in nurses, and LPNs for that matter, usually pass the NCLEX exam 100%. That means every single student passed that exam who sat for it. And you cannot do better than 100%. So they make us proud, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of an institution that can produce that kind of quality among our students, that's supported by our faculty.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we have a few minutes here to left in our 20-minute segment, and we can't let obviously what's happened over the last several months in the nation and certainly in our community go without getting your two perspectives on a couple of things. How did that affect education in the present, and how do you think that's going to affect education in the future? Dr. Nesbary, I'm going to let you go first.
Well, thank you, DJ. And it's in some ways are very obvious. We were sharing before we went online that I'm in my office today, but there are very few people on campus. We don't expect there to be very many people on campus for some time. We had to shift on a dime, and I know Aaron was in the same boat as we were in March. We were planning since January, March 13th. Never forget it. That was the last day that we were fully offering instruction on campus. But we were offering, most of our classes had some sort of an online component. You had to have your syllabus online and some tools there anyway. On a dime, we switched to basically remote, online, totally for the rest of the semester. A few face-to-face classes in the summer and a few more this fall, but I wouldn't expect anyone to see us as anything but primarily online for the next academic year. That means this fall, and then some in the winter as well.
How about Baker's experience?
Yeah, we have had, well, as Dr. Nesbary said, we had an abrupt ending in March, and very similarly, all of our classes have an online component. All of our faculty have been through Canvas, which is our learning management system training. So the pivot was fairly easy for our students and our faculty. In fact, 96% of our students completed their class during the semester. We've had students back on campus since June 15th, select really well. This fall, we're a lot like Dr. Nesbary had said at MCC. Many of our classes are going to be synchronous, virtual, so they'll be on a Zoom call, kind of like this, with their faculty live during the scheduled class times. We'll also offer online opportunities, and we'll have students on campus doing labs and select lectures, but there's an abundance of caution moving forward. I'm sure that everyone has saw the news just recently about UNC Chapel Hill had an outbreak, and now they've pivoted very quickly to move online. We're dealing with young kids, and I'm an older guy too, and sometimes we forget how cavalier we are when we're young, and we're never going to die and we're never going to get sick. And so we have to take that into account as we're opening up our campuses as well. And I actually had a WebEx with our resident assistant students on campus today, talking to them about their responsibilities to be student leaders on campus and model our policies, procedures, and protocols. It's so critical that we do that in our leadership roles to keep folks safe on campus when they are coming to campus.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, you know, everybody had to really move quickly, and my hats go off to the higher learning institutions and our local learning institutions that really had to move quickly and efficiently, keeping in mind, obviously, it was the kids that needed to benefit from it, and obviously, you two lead the way in that example. So, thank you on behalf of at least myself for making that quick adjustment for our the kids that really needed it the most. Gentlemen, I'll give you. I think we've got a couple minutes. I'll give you an opportunity for what we call in the business a closing statement. Even though this really wasn't a debate, but if there's anything that you'd like the members of Rotary to know about your institutions or you or how great the moderator was, I will. I'll let you. I'll give you each a minute or so. Dr. Maike, please.
Absolutely. Thank you. The moderator was awesome. Absolutely fabulous. um, Baker College has been in Muskegon since 1888 in some form or fashion. We are a private, not-for-profit institution. And the Muskegon campus is the largest campus in the Baker College system. We are so proud of Muskegon and what we bring to the community, and we are dedicated ambassadors of Muskegon, and will maintain a campus here for the long haul. We're planning for the next 100 years, and our CEO just did a welcome to our students, and this has been there, done that for Baker College. Eldon Baker delivered a welcome address during the pandemic in 1918. So while I was not there in 1918, we've been there and done that as an institution, and we're confident that we hopefully will never see another pandemic after this one.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Dr. Nesbary, please, your closing remarks.
Well, thank you again, DJ, for inviting two Rotarians to share with Rotary on how our institutions are doing. I'll echo my colleague, Dr. Aaron Maike, that we've been in this community not quite as long, but since 1926. So we're working on year 95 and looking forward to year 100. We enjoy serving not just Muskegon, but the surrounding areas. We're proud of our programs, proud of our students. You know, one specific program that is not extremely obvious, but it served the community very well during the pandemic was our health and wellness center on campus that was built from the ground up to be what I call a pop-up hospital. And we flipped that building from being basically a medical assisting program, support for allied health, to being support for COVID-19 from Friday through Monday. So thanks to the state of Michigan, thanks to our local mental health, allied health department that supported us in doing this great work for the community. It's something that we're proud to do and will do again. So thank you again for the time.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out of your busy schedules. As we all know that you guys are very busy. Again, thanks again for what you do for the community, and obviously the powerhouse education institutions that you both are. With that, gentlemen, we will conclude today's program. Thank you, Rotary, for the opportunity to be a part of this, and everybody have a safe and healthy rest of your day.